All right, this is Lisa from Tinged Blue. We are going to be taking our stencil now and centering it in the wall. Now normally I would use a larger stencil. This isn't the pattern that I would typically do, but this is just for demonstration purposes. So I just used what I had. And this wall is just going to be painted later, so I'm not really stenciling it for good. But you get the idea. So fortunately with this one, I can line up the points on the design with the cross hairs basically on here. So I'll use a little tape to keep that held in place. And I'll use the larger pieces of tape. You want to be sure when you're taping that you're not covering any of your design with the tape, because you want that all to be exposed. And this one doesn't have reference dots like most of them do, of course, because that would have been easier to show you. But you can even like just do a little smudge of the chalk in the corner. And I use chalk because it's washable, whereas pencil will kind of leave a mark that you won't be able to clean off as easily. But after everything's all done, you can wash off the chalk with a sponge. Okay. So now our stencil is centered in the center of the room, center of the wall, I mean, and it's ready to, you can actually double check it with this little torpedo level. Make sure it is level. If I could get the edge, there's the edge. Okay, yep, right on. Perfect. Okay, so now I'm going to get the paint, and I will show you how to stencil and how to pounce. Okay, we are ready to do some stenciling. So what we need to do is, I got my paint right here, just a little blob of it. You dip your stencil brush into it, but we don't want to just go straight from doing this and dabbing the paint to paint on the stencil because it will bleed underneath. So you just kind of mush it on a different spot on your plate or your palette and try to work the paint evenly into the brush. And then I even take paper towels or napkins in this case and then dab the brush again. We basically want to dry brush it on. Less is more. You can always add to it, but if you get too much and it seeps under, it's really a pain to deal with. Okay, so now that that's ready, it's just lightly, see how it's not a lot of paint on that. I'm going to dab away. Let me put this down. There we go. Okay. So just pounce like this. And you're just going to do some light coats and go over it. Sometimes I put my fingers on either side of where I'm stenciling to help keep that design in place as I am pouncing. And your fingers will probably get paint on them, and that's okay. Because when you're getting dirty and messy, you're having fun. Okay, let me get a little more paint. So you're just going to continue this process. This really isn't showing up very well. You know what I'm going to do is get another color of paint that will show up better for you guys. I got some different paint so you can see it better. And the same idea. I'm just pouncing. Especially if you have a textured wall, there's a lot of nooks and crannies. Let me trim this tag off because it's ridiculous. There we go. So I think what I'll do is I will stencil and then this top part the way you're supposed to, and then I'll do a section that has too much painted loaded on it so that you can have a comparison as to why I say less is more. Now if you're using multiple colors, you'd probably want to start with your lightest color first, and then if you're blending it, then you just work with it. And I'm doing the light color, or the light loads of paint, having your brush loaded lightly will really help with blending if you're doing more than one color. But I'm just doing this. Okay, and that's getting nice and coated. We'll eventually end up editing so you don't have to see all of this. Now, if I'm doing this entire wall, my arm is going to get really tired as it goes. So be prepared if you're doing a large space that you're going to probably have to break it up over a number of days. Otherwise, you'll feel like your arm's going to fall off. It's not for the faint of heart. Kids just got home, so there'll probably be background noise.